Who profits from keeping people fat? Damn. I wonder who.
If I may ask, how much have they offered you?
We're talking probably over $10,000 per post for pushing Ozempic.
For like a single Instagram post.
I told you. I told you, Ta. I told you.
Believe it or not, this person is worth more than...
I literally mentioned it before. Okay, so for the YouTube Kikos, you didn't get to see what I was talking about before because I saw this post on YouTube on a different video and I was like, oh wow, who profits from keeping people fat? I don't know, the government. Because they literally make money off of selling you like fucking medicine and pills and things that you can inject into your body and like this and that, because they make money off of that, bro. The fact that they literally mentioned it like 2 seconds into the video, it's like, damn, bam, Ozempic. Like, what?
Than you or I combined, but how?
Girl. Dude, I've seen this. I think I've seen this where they were like, there was like this person that was complaining that she wasn't given access to 2 chairs because like other people got enough space. So why shouldn't she be allowed to get like enough space to sit down? Like, oh my God. What do you mean for free? Like other people paid for 1 chair so you can get 2 chairs for free? That's not how it works.
More people will die from the effects of obesity than from starvation.
$500 billion in additional healthcare costs. $500 billion.
Plus size.
See, the government, healthcare, they make money off of you.
Clothes, supplements, and weight loss drugs are already hitting all-time sales today.
Wow.
And the fat industry is estimated to be worth $3 billion by 2030, and fat acceptance is becoming normalized. And it's all by design.
Hey, being a little bit chubby is completely fine. Having a little bit of extra meat on your body is totally fine. Wanting to eat a bit more of a bigger burger than another person is completely fine. But you have to also be aware of yourself in a sense. Like you just, you know, if you're going to be eating a little bit more, make sure that you are aware that, hey, I'm taking in a little bit extra calories than another person, you know?
What's next?
What's little? Like saying that you would buy a cheeseburger with 2 meat patties instead of 1, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, instead of going for a normal cheeseburger, you would go for the double Mac cheeseburger or some shit. Like, that's still 300 or 400 calories extra, right?
Step is turn people into helpless beings and that they must medicate for it. It's going to be drugged out.
So I talked to a fitness expert and a fat activist and went down a rabbit hole to find out who exactly is profiting from making America fat.
Damn. Crazy.
I'm curious, do you have like a medical condition that makes it impossible for you to lose weight?
I have several medical conditions. I wouldn't say it makes it impossible to lose weight. And then I'm on medications for different conditions that I have.
If you don't mind me asking, how much do you weigh?
Yeah, that's one that I'm like, I don't usually tell people, but it's well over 500 pounds. And so I don't give a specific number, but yeah.
Got it. So I saw on your website.
She said well over. She said well over 500 pounds. She said well over. So she could be 700 for all we know. Oh my God.
You created a petition called the Fat Equality Bill of Rights Petition. How are fat people discriminated against?
Fat people are discriminated against every day, and it's been ingrained in us to treat fat people poorly.
By the way, guys, my ass is so big that it sometimes doesn't fit into chairs like comfortably. I went to the fucking like hairdresser recently, and there was this normal sized chair where other people were sitting in fine, but my booty cheek was so fucking massive that it wasn't fitting in 100%. I had to kind of squeeze myself into it because of my dumpy being so massive. But when it gets to the point where you literally have to have 2 air seats, dude, that's crazy. What do you mean 2 base? So relatable. You're not fat, you're thick. Okay, yeah, I just got a big booty, but that's you know, that's one thing and that's other. Proof if really, you don't need proof, man. Come on, dude.
To be honest, a lot of fat people face medical discrimination. Oftentimes we're told about our weight, whether it's related or not. In travel, we are forced to pay for 2 seats if we take up more space than the average person, even though we're going to the same place. Social media platforms censor our bodies, fat bodies.
So what
We're
exactly are you
forced
trying
to
to
get 2 seats even if we're going to the same place, but you're 2 people in weight as well. Like if you were 130 kilos, that's like a normal weight for some big guys. Like some big dudes, 190 centimeters, 2 meters tall, right? Semi-muscular, semi-fat, right? Those motherfuckers can weigh up to like 150 kilos, right? That's fine. But girly literally weighs 2 people. So like it's kind of understandable that you would have to pay for 2 seats if you're going to be taking in 2 seats, right? For 2 people. Because instead of traveling or like bringing 2 extra people to tourism and shit like that, right? They're only bringing 1. So like in a sense, you have to understand, right? By the way, chat, is that some places in the world have cheaper flight tickets than others. Do you know why they do that? Because of tourism. For a lot of people, a lot of families are not able to like afford going to crazy fucking trips. So what they do is that the government itself subsidizes for the costs for the airports and the airplanes to make the tickets slightly cheaper to be able to get more tourism and more people to spend money in their countries. If you have this situation where you are going to like give away free seats to other people just because they're a little bit chubby or a little bit bigger, where they're not going to be able to fit in one seat, that also means that their tourism import for the amount of money that they're going to be spending in that country is going to be half as much, because it's one person, unless they, you know, go to a fucking 5-star hotel or some shit, or get some crazy food, like I don't know whatever they buy, fucking I don't know, fucking designer goods or some shit, right? You know what I mean? So like, yes, we're going to expect you to pay for 2 seats because you're taking in somebody else's place, which could have been filled with 1 extra tourist. No, like that's kind of how it works. If you're gonna be,
yeah, I think it comes down to, I want fat people to be equal. I don't want there to be a fat tax where we're paying more to access similar services. I want us to be able to show up and access the same things as anybody else without needing accommodations.
So it seems like it's kind of like you're advocating for fat people to be like a protected class, like race, gender, religion. Is that fair to say?
a protected class? Race, gender, religion? What?
Okay.
Yeah, fat rights are civil rights.
But just
One thing that I do agree with her here is that healthcare should be available for everybody. Healthcare should be available for people. You shouldn't have like insane prices. Yes, people should still pay for it, but $10,000 for a surgery, $20,000 for a surgery, $30,000 for a surgery, I don't even know how much costs are in America, but it's fucking ridiculous, is crazy. You should not be paying that much for health insurance or any type of healthcare. That is way too fucking high. But there's level to it. There is levels to it.
so understand though, right? Like, for example, my race, I'm Asian and I'm an Asian male. Like, that's not something I had any sort of like choice in. Are you saying that fatness is on the same level as race and gender when it comes to choice?
Yes, you were born Asian, and yes, I was born African American. I was also born fat, and as much as I've, tried to do things many times in my life to change being fat, it just hasn't worked for me.
How fucking massive were you? Did you tear your mom open when you came out? Like, what the fuck? Did they have to perform 3 C-sections on her stomach to make sure that you could fit out? What the fuck does that even mean? Nobody is born fat. You might be born, let's say, 5 kilos instead of 3 or 2 or 6 kilos or 7 kilos at times, right? You could be a massive baby, but most of the times that also has in like different things in line when it comes to like genetics and how big the baby is going to be in the future, like how tall they're going to be, if they're going to have any type of like medical issues or anything like that. You cannot tell me that you were born fat. Like, maybe you were born as a 6 kilogram child baby, right? 7 kilograms. Sure, I'll take that, right? But come on, like, dude, No.
And so for some people, it's absolutely not a choice, and I stand by that.
That is true. I will say though, it's not like in some cases it's not a choice. Every single person is born is raised differently. So depending on what you went through during your childhood, you're going to be fatter or skinnier, right? I mentioned this before during another stream as well. If, for instance, you were raised with a family where they forced you to finish your plate no matter what, then you were most likely going to be raised / grow up a little bit chubbier than other kids because you don't understand that you don't have to finish all of the food that's on your plate at all times. So even if somebody gives you a portion that's bigger than normal, you're still going to try and eat all of it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like the way that you're raised absolutely changes it. There's different like types of like gene changes and stuff like that, right? Like there's always things that are going to impact you or your weight depending on like where you are from, where you live, how you were raised, etc., 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 right? But you cannot tell me that you were fat since the beginning and that you're always fat and that this is your only way of living. Like in the end, it is kind of a choice.
If I may challenge you though, isn't fatness something that you can control?
Being fat isn't a choice, and
There you go. There you go. If it's a medical condition, that's understandable too. That's what I'm saying. Like there is some people that have it as a medical condition, absolutely. But the chance that it is actually a medical condition is like 10 to 20%, maybe at most. Like so many people think that they have something wrong with their body, but in the end, it really is like just getting the right amount of calories and making sure that you like understand everything, like how your body works. And absolutely, you can go do blood tests, you can go check out like everything and make sure that you're healthy and that everything works the way that it's supposed to. It could be an issue with your pancreas, it could be an issue with like your fat intake or your sugar intake or your body's metabolism being incredibly like not strong, or like it's just weak, right? And like it's not able to process foods in good ways. But like, dude, what she's saying, no.
I see. If I may challenge you though, isn't fatness something that you can control?
Being fat isn't a choice, and fatness has a spectrum, right? So, you know, you have genetics, you have medications, you have environmental influences.
See, she's saying the same thing. That is true. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. Genes, environmental influences, like medications, all of that count for you becoming fat or like staying fat in your life. Absolutely. But what she is a little bit further than that.
There's so many things.
So she argues that for some, fatness isn't a choice, but if that's true, then why is almost half the country obese? The rates don't increase in just such a short time due to genetics and disorders, so clearly something changed.
But that makes no sense, because if it was genetics and disorders, then fatness would be the same in every single country in the entire world. Like the stats are calling for themselves. Like yes, of course, there's, you know, Asian people, Indian people, fucking Egyptian people, African people, European people. Like there's different races, there's different ethnicities, there's different everything, right? But like if that was the case, then that would be widespread everywhere. But that's not the case. Just because you have a disposition for something medically doesn't mean it's going to be happen. My family has a disposition for Alzheimer's, and you know what we do? Study language, crosswords, and don't consume aluminum as a preventative. Exactly. No, absolutely. Like if you're aware that your family already has things that are part of your bloodline and, you know, like your genes, you try and do preventative stuff, because Alzheimer's is not something that you automatically get when you become old. Alzheimer's / dementia is something that you receive over time by not studying, not taking care of your brain, not taking care of your mental clarity, like not you know, just doing things that keep you active. Because like that's the thing, when you become older, you start getting into like this pattern where you do the same thing every single day, and that causes your brain to kind of become lax. It causes it to like, you know, not learn new things, and it just bases all of the information that it gets from old things that it already knows, which kind of fucks you up and causes you to get dementia. So yes, absolutely, in your case for sure. Lack of exercise and maybe expensive healthy options. No, absolutely. We're mentioning that as well. That's what we were talking about in the beginning of the video. Like lack of exercise is 100% a thing that happens in America. And of course, not having healthy options. What I have noticed is that prices are going incredibly up right now too, because of like eggs and stuff like that, like imports and all that other shit. So I completely understand like people not being able to be healthy that much in America. It's mostly circumstance, but it's also choice in the end. Like it's slightly. For sure. We continue.
I think it's pretty obvious that our food is compromised. And it all happened fairly recently. Have you noticed how anytime you see like a movie or TV show in the 50s or 60s, they're literally chain smoking cigs after every breath? And then all of a sudden it just magically stopped.
Disappeared?
Because around the 80s or so is when the Surgeon General's report made a shocking revelation that smoking is horrible for you.
Wow,
and then
that's
now
crazy.
these big cigarette companies now had to diversify. And by the 90s or so,
That's
the two largest
crazy.
companies that has mastered the art of addiction started buying food companies. And soon
Of
enough, their
course
scientists started
they
doing what
did.
they do best, making their products addictive, creating the
knew
ultra
it.
processed food that we see today that has profited from the processing, such as high fructose corn syrup that literally
Fucked
make
up.
you more hungry the more you eat it, rather than making you feel more full.
Really? There's no fucking way. There is no fucking way. Dude, that is insane.
But then how the hell did food governments and scientists let all this happen knowing that
Money.
all this shit is so unhealthy? Well, simply put, big food lobby. And they lobbied
Yeah, bro.
hard.
They took over the institutions of trust to
Money.
say ultra-processed food was healthy, and then they took their scientists and rigged the food itself to make it more addictive. So you
Also, by the way, Tat, you know why processed food is bad, right? Processed food is bad because your body requires less effort to be able to actually metabolize those like foods and turn them into energy for your body. The reason why processed foods are bad is because it becomes so much easier for you to overeat or become fat because you don't use any calories to fucking like digest them. And in a sense, processed foods are really good. In the past, they were also really good because povertized families would be able to live longer with processed foods or canned foods, like anything during the war and stuff like that, right? Those foods were really good because they stayed well for a really long time period. They were chemically altered to stay good and healthy, or like, you know, just being able to like not go bad for a really long time period. So that was really nice. But then that doesn't change, like that doesn't stay the same the entire time. Like now we don't really need processed foods that much anymore, but it's become such a normal thing, like staple in our government, in like our communities, that everybody's eating them no matter like what, right? But my Oreos. Oh man, but my French fries, okay, French fries are not bad. If you make them yourself, potatoes are actually one of the best forms of food that you can get. They're incredibly high in a lot of different like really, really good fibers and foods for your, or like vitamins and stuff for your body. So like honestly, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. It's mostly like the fattiness and the salt that's bad on it, like frying things.
You had the
The oils and
pyramid,
shit.
which said ultra-processed food is great, low fat, carbs, base the pyramid. That was constructed literally by the cigarette industry to promote their
Wow.
addictive products.
So when big food manipulated health standards, they weren't just changing what healthy means. They were creating loyal customers who
they
keep
went from
buying the
drugs
very
and
products that were making them fatter.
cancer-inducing
Look, big food is just one
cigarettes
piece in this
to
trillion-dollar
drug
industry.
foods.
Being fat costs the average American thousands more per year. Who's actually profiting from keeping you fat?
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm
let's move on a
saying.
little bit towards your corporate partnerships, because I saw on your website that you partnered with over 300 brands. Names like Google, Dove, and McDonald's. Do you think corporations actually genuinely support your activism, or using you and your followers as an opportunity for financial gain?
I think that that's a great question. I think performative inclusivity is something we need to talk more about. So, for instance, I've worked with McDonald's, like you said. Have we ever had a
Performative inclusivity?
conversation about making their restaurants more accessible or having more representation in their marketing? No, I definitely haven't spoken to them about that. But then there are companies like Big Fig Mattress who specifically target plus size community, and you can see it through and through that they're supporting the community in every aspect. In the marketing, fat people are represented. They pay their creators that are fat well.
How do you advocate for fat liberation though, when like companies like McDonald's, let's be honest, if we had to kind of create like the average customer profile, they're probably going to be more obese people.
Yeah, for sure. McDonald's definitely is going to serve more fat people than, you know, say Apple or something like that. And I use a lot of these.
Did she just fucking compare McDonald's to Apple? Girl.
These partnerships where I see changes that need to be made to kind of work my way into
You
being
could have at least fucking compared McDonald's to like fucking Olive Garden or some shit, bro. Like what?
accessibility consultant.
Do you think
Apple, a
corporations
food
have
brand,
also created this
yeah.
fat acceptance movement to monetize a big base of the American
Yes, my
population?
favorite afternoon
as
snack,
new
an
customers?
iPhone.
Honestly, the case might be there. There might be a point made. We have a demographic we need to meet, but I also do think that people see it, the body positive label, the fat acceptance label, the things like that, they see it as a marketing tactic as well. Fat liberation has been around for a really long time, but you're definitely seeing companies come into this. We're supporting and we're here to be inclusive, and it's definitely a trend to some.
Because I agree with her. It's so much better when a company is actually honest to their values instead of just pandering to whatever trend. Like, I just feel like you can trust that way more. That's exactly why I use my sponsor, Cook Unity, to get restaurant quality,
Of course you do.
healthy dishes made by award-winning chefs delivered fresh to my door.
Of course.
Look, I'm Japanese and a food snob, so trust me when I say that these meals are actually fire. And especially this butter chicken
You know what's fire? Cooking them yourself. Crazy.
made by Chef Brad and Chef Banu. And look, I've had a lot of curry. The sauce and the meat had a lot of flavor, and most importantly, I didn't feel slumped after eating. It's healthy, it's easy, and it saves me a lot of time without having to cook or grocery shop or do the dishes. So I can
Yeah, so no, you know what you should get instead, by the way, Tad? No, I'm not sponsored. I've been using HelloFresh for fucking years now. You should get this instead. They deliver the boxes to your door. It's absolutely banger, super healthy ingredients, super fresh ingredients, so amazing, absolutely insane. Please sponsor me, HelloFresh, please. I've been buying your content. I've been buying your shit for fucking 5 years now, please. Yeah, this is really good. It's really fucking nice. They offer you the recipes and everything. The ingredients are super widespread. There's so many different types of spices and places and like, you know, all over the world that you can get the fucking like recipes from. And at the same time, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's banger. It's banger.
maximize
I
my
really
time.
like it. Why would you get like these pre-made meals? Yeah, most of the meals that you can get from HelloFresh are like done in 20 minutes. Maybe there's one that you have to spend 40 minutes on, but it's still banger as fuck. Holy
Making
fuck.
these damn
It's
videos.
cheaper nowadays too. It is. Me and Manfu did the actual like checking for like how much it would cost, because the thing is, right, is that if you were to buy every single one of these like ingredients and like recipes by themselves, you would have to get it from like a lot of different like supermarkets, regions, maybe have it imported and stuff like that, right? Because not every single person has access to like these different fucking spices and meats and this and that, because it's like they're not available in every single supermarket, right? So overall, you have less clutter in your kitchen. You don't need as many spices and things and garbage and all that other stuff. And at the same time, you get to try out new recipes. So it's a lot cheaper than buying it from a supermarket.
Get 50% off your first
Why would we sponsor you before you already buy our stuff and advertise our stuff for free? Lol. It's so true, so true. Please sponsor me, please. Give me money.
First order of Cook Unity meals at cookunity.com/gen with code GEN at checkout. Because whatever your goal is, what you eat is important. And
You
there's
tell 'em, King.
absolutely no denying that when you eat good, healthy food, you feel way better than eating McDonald's. But this also shows exactly why McDonald's...
Dude, you know what's interesting? Whenever me and Manfo have McDonald's, literally 20 minutes later, not even maybe, we're like, damn, I'm hungry again. like it's supposed to make you feel full, but it doesn't do anything.
are sponsoring fat activists, because unfortunately they do know who their audience is.
Damn.
And that makes sense, because brands are going to want to find audiences in which they can sell to, but
Of course.
the problem is that it's also infiltrated others. Washington Post found that dietitians using hashtag no bad foods, hashtag food freedom, and hashtag ditch the diet are encouraging their followers to eat whatever them makes happy. These are dietitians that were backed by companies like General Mills.
These are dietitians that are telling people to eat fucking rainbow fucking colored cornflakes and Cookie Crisp. Dietitians?
Whatever them makes happy.
Twice as much vitamin D as before. How about you step outside and fucking take in the sunlight? What the fuck do you mean vitamin D in my cornflakes? Who gives a shit? Yeah, and 5 times as much carbohydrates and sugar, but fuck that shit, bro. Nah.
These are dietitians that were backed by companies like General Mills,
That's
the people behind your
insane.
favorite bullshit cereal. So I think you can now start seeing the bigger picture and
Wow.
how money behind these movements can start using
Cornflakes is a lie. Cornflakes is absolutely a lie. And on top of that, cornflakes was most likely like grouped together with the milk industry to sell as much milk as they could and tell people like, hey, cornflakes is the #1 type of like, you know, food that you should eat in the morning. It's so filled with vitamins and it's really good with some milk, you know, blah, 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 corpa garbage.
messengers from fat activists to dietitians
Jesus.
to slowly start chipping away at the public's perception. In this case, what's healthy? So what happens when a company gains absolutely nothing from fat activism and in fact can be hurt from it, but feel the pressure to conform? You said like one of your biggest initiatives is making it easier for fat people to travel. What is the customer of size policy and why are you demanding that airlines implement it?
Customer size policy, essentially, it doesn't say one way or the other what is required. It's just more of a policy for this is how our airline accommodates people of size. The customer size policy, though, specifically that I've modeled my petition to the FAA after is the Southwest Airlines customer size policy. And with that policy, anybody who encroaches on the second seat can be given a free seat in order to make sure they're accommodated and they're comfortable on their flight. For me specifically, though, I take it a step further, and I think that all airlines should model their customer size policy after Southwest and provide that second additional seat, and even a third if you're encroaching upon that much space. It's
A 3rd seat? Are you fucking crazy? That is insane.
considerate for your body, but also anyone else flying next to you.
Because if we're gonna be real, this whole
You know what, dude? I'm gonna start yapping again. What I hate the most, let me start there. What I hate the most is when people around you don't understand personal space. If I were to sit next to a person that requires 2 seats, I would rather not be on that flight at all because they're most likely going to be in my space all the time anyways. Like on my flight towards China/Japan, right? Last September, I had a person, sorry, it was on the way back home actually. I had a person sitting next to me who was like jabbing his elbow in my side the entire time. Like he was like, and be like, could you please stop that? Could you please like decide if you're going to take the front of the seat or am I muted? Wait. Did I actually mute myself? Lol. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Does it work? Is it working again? Did I fix it? The elbow tab broke it. Oh my god, lol. Is it fine? Is it okay now? Lol. Yeah, so that's how bad the guy was also pouring into my side. He did it so incredibly hard with his fucking elbow that he kept on like destroying my audio as well. But yeah, so basically personal space is a thing, and like I had to tell this person like either choose the front of the arm seat or choose the back, decide which side you want, because otherwise I will bring one of the like, you know, flight attendants. And he gave me the craziest look ever. Like, bro, if you're not gonna respect my personal space, then why the fuck did you like not choose like a first class seat? Hello? I had someone that pushed in my back. Oh dude, I've had so many people that like, I had people that like started kicking their fucking chair or something. I had this person that would like lower his seat in my space the entire time, and then when the what's it called, the flight attendant told him to like raise it, he would lower it again after she would pass. And it's like, dude, human decency. Like, what the fuck? Dude, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, okay, whatever. But yeah, like, I don't understand why people would feel so entitled to somebody else's space. If you want space, get a first class seat. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, if you would like to get accommodated as a person of size, keep in mind that this is economy class. It's economy class for a reason, because people in economy class are not expected to have thousands upon thousands of dollars to afford on, you know, food as well. So, like, I don't know. You would, if you want to get a seat, you should get one in the first class section, no? Right? Like, I don't get it.
Whole thing that she's talking about only really stands if fatness is truly like a disability that you're born with and you can't change. Because I don't think
if that was the case, then you should have official papers of at least like 2 or 3 doctors that looked through your entire gene family, that you have proof that you're like, you know, parents have had disabilities with this, your grandparents have had disabilities with this. If you have official proof that yes, this is a disability and I have issues with it, then absolutely. But that is also what you're expecting from other people as well. For people that require wheelchairs in airports, for instance, for people that require extra help most of the time, right? There is a section on the like airline tickets, like region, whatever you want to say, that where it asks you like, hey, do you require extra support in the airport? Like, will you need anybody to help you? Whenever that's the case, most of the time you either have to pay more or you have to show proof that you have a disability that aligns with the care that you're going to be receiving. So like, if you have official proof, then yeah, absolutely, that's not an issue. I do think that disability fatness should be accommodated. Absolutely, absolutely it should. But like, when you feel entitled to other people's personal space or other people's spots in flights just because you're, you know, not big, like too big to fit in one seat without officially having doctor statements, then you're just entitled. Like, I don't know how to say it otherwise.
Anyone here can deny that we should absolutely accommodate people who are disabled. If it's something that you can change,
for sure.
That's ridiculous. So really the question becomes personal responsibility, and I wanted to find answers. And so I wanted to talk to this expert, and especially this one, because of this reel.
Absolutely. This is so true.
No, people who are overweight.
No, but this is so true. Like, being overweight is not a good thing, right? Keep in mind that there is people in the Olympic category that are incredibly big, but are that size specifically because it benefits them in their field, in their, you know, like the things that they're professionalized in. Absolutely. That is true. But fat but healthy cannot really be correlated that well. Like, being fit and looking fit are two completely things. This sure, but healthy is a different thing. Like, yeah, sumo wrestlers, for instance, right? They are fit in their own section, right? But if you tell sumo wrestlers to fucking touch their toes, like, no. That's not gonna happen. If you tell them to do some crazy fucking ballerina stretches, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's...
No, people who are overweight but active were more healthy than those who are overweight but inactive.
Because in order to...
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You are going to be healthier if you move. If you're overweight, that's fine. That's understandable. It's, you know, that's your decision. It happens. No matter what happened in your past, that's completely fine. I think that people being overweight, it should be completely like normal. You should see them as normal people. You should, like, how do you say that? Like, you should be friendly to them. You should be nice to them. There's no reason for like discrimination against people of different size just because they don't fit your, you know, perspective in life. That's, you know, they are them and you are you. But thinking that you're going to be insanely healthy even when overweight, that is kind of
understand how the last player is able to profit so much. We have to separate from opinion. Understand how a movement can go from acceptance to ridiculousness.
So I And my entire life was spent in athletics. I used to eat whatever I wanted, looked relatively good while doing it. And then when that stuff stopped and I didn't change my dietary habits, I noticed that I wasn't really liking what I saw in the mirror. I was starting to go a certain direction. And then finally I was like, okay, I got to figure this stuff out. I figured out that through manipulating certain variables, it was just a mathematics game. It became very, very frustrating to me to see other people who wouldn't recognize that it was and would say a lot of things contrary to that, like, oh, it doesn't have to see other people who wouldn't recognize that it was and would say a lot of things contrary to that, like, oh, it
Kiko, fat is extra stress on your organs despite your fitness level. Oh, like being fat is extra stress on your organs? No, for sure, for sure.
doesn't have to do with calories, it just has to do with my hormones. Like, and that kind of catapulted me into a career of debunking.
Okay, I will say though, I will say there is two sides to the story because male fitness and female fitness is incredibly different. It is like the fucking front and back side of the moon type of shit, you know? Like, we have hormones and bodies that work completely different from one another. So that's for sure. That is also proof, right? For men, if you stay steady at all times, you're going to lose weight at a steady rate because your hormones reset every single 24 hours. Whereas with girls, they reset monthly. So it is like how you feel on the first day of your like period is completely different on how you're going to feel during your like ovulation or during your luteal phase, right? It's not comparable. So yes, girls are going to have a harder time losing weight and getting fit in comparison to guys. Absolutely. It is 100% not like attached to hormones and stuff like that. But it is going to be like, you know, in the end, like math. Like if you just figure out how it works, it is not going to be that much different for guys and girls. It's just going to take more time.
Nutrition myths, and that's why I have an issue with the whole idea of acceptance. We don't accept alcoholism. We don't accept drug addiction. And a movement that bases its entire name around the title acceptance does not make sense to me when it comes to something that...
Okay, he kind of cooked there. Wait. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's kind of true. Like in the end, being overweight to the point of it becoming a disability is the same as drinking yourself so incredibly drunk that you're going to need a new liver, right? Or like needing new lungs because your fucking lungs are cooked because of the cigarettes. Like, isn't that kind of the same?
That is that detrimental to your health.
It's a great point because when fatness is now affecting 40% of the population and costs people $1.7 trillion per year, why the hell was this epidemic not being taken seriously? Of course, there's a lot at stake to not fix it. Because when you have a golden ticket that convinced people that you can solve their problem with no extra work, you spend all the ad dollars in the world to keep it that way. And the most ironic part about this final player is that even though it's benefiting the most from the fat acceptance movement, might also be the very thing that ends it.
Ozempic and the body condition of most of the people at the Golden Globes shows that the fat acceptance movement was all a scam.
Wait, so what is Ozempic exactly? Is it a drug that dissolves fat in your body, or what is Ozempic? Because I've never heard of that in like Europe. I've never heard about Ozempic in my country. Like, it's a weight loss drug, yes, but like, do people actually just purchase Ozempic to inject it in their fucking bodies and then lose weight and continue eating? A weight loss drug, Drake uses it. Oh my fucking God. It makes you less hungry from what I recall. If you're hungry, just, I don't know, drink water. Fucking have some fucking protein drink or something. It suppresses your appetite? Suppress it yourself! What? Oh my God. It's used for diabetes too, I think. Okay, I understand that. I get that. What exactly does Ozempic do in your body? It works by helping your body to produce more insulin when needed. It also reduces the amount of glucose or sugar produced by the liver, and it slows down how quickly food is digested. Okay, I see. It kills your appetite. It was supposed to help those who are obese, but is abused by a lot of people who don't need it and take it away from those who do. Damn! That is crazy. Okay, the thing that it said that it helps your body produce more insulin when needed is really required for people that have diabetes. And you also have to understand that people might actually be born with diabetes or like get it over time, but because of like a family gene or something that like fucks up your body. That is not something that is completely linked to obesity and eating too much in and of itself. That is something that might actually be coded into your body straight up from the moment that you're born. So you're telling me that people that are like just random homies are like, oh, I don't want to be as hungry anymore. Like buy Ozempic and then take it from people that actually need it, which raises the prices and makes like people that are diabetic actually unable to get access to the, oh my God. That is fucking insane. Damn.
Moment that you had an easy route out of being overweight, body positivity went out of the window. That's so true.
Yeah.
I knew that somebody was born diabetic, was insulin dependent, and was the fittest guy I knew. Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of middle-aged women abuse it. I mean, I don't know, man. This is like, it's weird. Of course, there's always going to be like a double side to the story, of course. But like, for me personally, I was raised in a country where they literally tell you to shove a fucking paracetamol up your ass, drink a cup of tea, and like deal with it. Dude, I don't even take painkillers when I'm in crazy pain. I never take anything because it's like when I actually need it, what is going to happen if my body is resistant towards it, right? Did it work? Shut up. Like, dude, in the Netherlands, they do not give a shit if you have a cold or if you're not feeling well, if you have a headache or if you're throwing up. Bro, just rest, dude. What you have a headache? What a pussy! Like, just don't be sick, fivehead. Dude, I went to the doctor and I was like, hey, could I maybe do like a physical checkup for my body and make sure that everything is fine? And she was like, you're young. You don't need a physical checkup. We only do physical checkups for people that are 60 and older. I was like, what? What the fuck do you mean you only do 60? What? Dude, this country does not give a damn about like you or if you want to get drugs or shit like that unless you're already in the hospital and dying. Like, dude, so me seeing the American like institute where they have this thing where, oh, the moment that you have a little boo-boo, you have a little scratch, oh my oh my God, my tooth hurts, my head hurts. Dude, they give them the craziest medication for no reason. Like that's, huh? That's insane.
What the hell happened to all the acceptance? I mean, just look at the sales over the last few years and what it's projected to be. And now look at their stock that has exploded to become one of Europe's most valuable companies.
No!
And now we have unbearable celebrities like James Corden's to those that yap about acceptance like Oprah, who literally used to back Weight Watchers that actually promotes like real diet and exercise, to now all of them using Ozempic. And it's also not just
all of them,
just the fatter celebrities that are using it. It's becoming an epidemic.
What?
And it's only just the beginning. How common are you?
What? So people that were like promoting healthy life and good decisions and working out are now all just taking Ozempic instead? You also look older by using it. You're joking. That can't be true. That cannot be linked. There's no fucking way that that's true.
Are you seeing Ozempic, whether it be amongst your clients or people you know?
It's incredibly common. I'll deal with people every day who are like, oh yeah, my aunt is on this, my cousin's on this.
What's next?
The next step is to turn people into helpless beings or make them...
You know what they're doing? They're literally turning us into the homies from Wall-E, bro. We're gonna be fucking... Dude, we're literally gonna be turning into these guys. Like... I'm not even gonna fucking joke. Bro, holy shit.
Believe that they are completely helpless and that they must medicate for it. And so that is going to become the logical conclusion rather than a last step. It's starting to become more popular too.
So what they're doing is they're making people dependent on it. Wait, but now that I think about it, okay, let me just cook for a little bit. Doesn't your body automatically create things when it requires it and removes stuff when it doesn't need it anymore? So like it's the same thing as body hair and our like, you know, tailbone, etc., etc. If a person that was on Ozempic for like, let's say 30 years, holy these arms, I know, right? Let them cook. Dude, if a person that was on Ozempic for like 30 years decides to have a kid, then wouldn't that automatically also fuck up the child's like insulin creation as well, because it's coded into their like bodily cells to make less insulin? So then that child would also be completely fucked over by it? No? It doesn't work that fast. Okay, yes, but like give or take like 3, 4, 5 generations, because the way that it's transforming America right now, wouldn't that mean that in like, let's say 150 years, 200 years, right, we're gonna have people that are completely dependent on that? It's not guaranteed, but it could, and that's a massive issue. That could be really bad. Isn't that the same thing that what they did with like what's it called, people being lactose intolerant? It's not that much of a thing anymore. Even in Asian countries, lactose intolerance is not that much of a thing because people are getting more and more into cheese. Dude, Japan fucking loves cheese. Korea loves cheese. Yeah, they just tolerate it in a sense, right? So like, are they doing the same thing? Are they doing, oh my gosh. They tested this with penguins by putting them in tropical climates. They saw that each generation was less and less cold tolerant. That is insane. They could cook the human, like the genes of Americans and make them all insulin resistant. That's, dude. Oh my God, that's bad. That's so bad. Why would people decide to use it when they're not even sick? That's crazy.
With the bodybuilding community. Because one of the main mechanisms of action for GLP-1s is that it does reduce your appetite. So you'll get people who are trying to cut down to body fat levels that aren't sustainable, and the leaner you get as a bodybuilder, the hungrier you get.
So it's reached everyone, but especially middle-aged older women, and it's no coincidence that that's also the group that's most represented by the fat acceptance movement.
Of course.
Come on, there's no fat acceptance for guys. Because what if I told you that Novo Nordisk,
so true, dude, there is no fat acceptance for guys. If you show up looking like a fucking fucking Romanian grandpa, right? Oh my God. You know those guys with like the tank tops? Not these, like tank top grandpas with like sweaty armpits and like sauce all over their chest, and like, you know, they smell absolutely rancid. Like Romanians catching strays, dude. Manfu would be so proud of me if I said that. Dude, if he heard me say that, he would be so proud of me. He can't stand Romania anymore, man. Even rednecks. No. You can't just like say that all people that are rednecks, right? Like, no. Like, you know what I mean? Just
behind
people
Ozempic
that don't care about hygiene. Like, would you wouldn't get accepted as a dude that if you were like that, right? But if you were an old guy with like crazy muscles, yeah, everybody would be all over you, man.
Dollars to an
but like,
group
if you're a fat girl, nobody cares. They're like, damn, chubby queen, let me get some of that fat acceptance, guys. We need to accept ourselves as we are, you know? And it's like, it's so unhealthy.
City Action Coalition and hundreds of thousands to other similar various advocacy groups. But now they're trying to change policy and they're targeting specific groups in order to achieve that, like giving thousands of dollars to Black organizations, such as sponsoring a panel at the Congressional Black Caucus Conference. We'll get to that in a sec, but is it also why they decided to target Black creators like Jaylin? Have you been approached by Ozempic to sell to your audience?
Yeah, I've been, I don't think I can say Ozempic specifically, but I've been approached by these like agencies that are working with, and I probably get an email a month asking me if I'm interested in pushing the GLP-1s. And I've actually spoken out against Ozempic and worked with a company to
Damn.
help people sue Ozempic for the medical and health conditions that they were causing and that their product was causing harm. And so,
If I may
So it is causing harm. So Ozempic is causing crazy harm to people. So it is causing harm. Oh my.
ask, how much have they offered you
we're talking probably over $10,000 per post for pushing Ozempic
for like a single Instagram post?
for a single Instagram post.
What other kind of products have they reached out to you about? Like weight loss pills? Like,
I've had someone offer to give me bariatric surgery. If I flew to their country, they would completely cover
Excuse me?
the cost and my expenses to stay in their resort thing while I get weight loss surgery. And that was for a
Wow.
company based out of Turkey. And I've had them reach out probably 5 times over the 6 years I've been doing this.
look, I disagree with you. I believe a lot in health, fitness, and keeping what I consider a healthy weight. But the fact that you're standing on your values and frankly standing on business, I commend that a lot. Do you feel like
Wow.
a lot of other fat activists are now starting to sell out?
So I think the ability to sell out is there. If you want it, you can start working with the GLP-1s. You can start licensing your content to weight loss programs that are trying to build AI, to, you know, things like that, right? There's so many ways you can sell out.
It seems like there's a lot of lucrative opportunities to be a fat activist. Man, maybe I take my statements back. Maybe I need a
Damn.
course change on my content. I'm kidding.
You're welcome over
Damn.
here, man. We'll accept you.
So look, I'm gonna give credit when credit is due, and I commend her a lot for that. Because at that Congressional Black Caucus Foundation conference that I showed earlier, the reason Novo sponsored a panel discussion is all part of their big push to open up Medicare coverage to include weight loss drugs like Ozempic. Because as you can imagine, that will substantially increase their profits. And what they did is that they strategically picked panelists that would tout their message, like Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford, a Harvard Medical School professor that specializes in obesity. And surprise, surprise, she's received consulting fees from Novo. So there's no wonder why she would go on
Of course. Right?
to make a statement at that conference saying things like, we've denied care for obesity when we haven't for other chronic diseases, instead of recommending the only sustained way of losing weight, diet and exercise. So again, the funniest thing about all this,
I will say though, the worst part about diet and exercise when you are a fat person is that it's literally a disability at that point. Like when you are over a specific amount of weight, it becomes almost impossible for you to lose weight with exercise. Like you might be able to go swimming, possibly. You might be able to go for walks, but a lot of things are impossible as a really, really, really big person because of how much weight you're putting on your bones and your body just by existing. Like it is insane. At that point, you would just have to diet so hard that you would basically cut your calories to like half the amount because, and mind you, that is incredibly hard. That is so hard. For me, dieting is so incredibly difficult. Like I would much rather make sure that I go to the gym twice a day and I just drink a shit ton of water and still eat like 3 meals a day than eating 1 meal a day and then maybe like some snacks and salads here and there. It's fucking hard, bro. Jump in the swimming pool and cause it tsunami. Okay, be nice. Be nice. You can't be saying shit like that. That's kind of fucked up. I'm sure that normal people can also cause a fucking tsunami if they like jump in a specific way. I mean, I wouldn't say impossible, but it'll be super, super, super hard and will take years to see notable difference for people that are overweight. No, it is. It is. It will. And also because of the fact that usually what your body does is that it takes care of the subcutaneous fats first, and the ones that are surrounding like your organs and stuff, like extra fat that you don't need. So like fat on your face, fat on your ankles, fat on like the inner parts of your body instead of the outer parts. And you don't see that originally when you were working out for like a year, maybe even. you're not going to be seeing any change because of how slow that process is. And it's really debilitating as like a person that's trying to like lose fat or look better. Is it gets to a point where it's basically like pulls you down and makes you feel horrible about yourself because, oh, I'm not seeing any results. It's really hard at times.
Ozempic is literally destroying the fat acceptance movement by targeting and monetizing the very population that was a part of it. So
there's one thing I see a lot though, even when they cut down, they still have a lot of excess skin, which sucks for them, to be honest. No, absolutely. Like if you've gotten to a point where you are really, really, really fat, then yes, excess skin is a very, very big issue. But if you're slightly overweight, like if you're like, let's say 100 kilos, most of the time, if you just take your time and lose the weight and you don't like, you know, try to fucking diet instantly and lose it all as fast as possible, your body kind of acclimates to it and you don't have that much like loose skin. It might become more of an issue if you're like older, because of course the older you are, the less flexibility your skin has, the more flappy it becomes, the more like jiggly it becomes, which is really, really hard like if you're older to like lose weight and then also look nice. It's kind of sad.
Big Pharma is benefiting heavily from the fat movement by keeping people on a subscription. But what I found is that they aren't the ones that are profiting most. So the fourth and final player is the industry of insecurity.
What?
Because what I actually found out most through this investigation is that the more
the
acceptance
industry
that you
of
spread,
insecurity,
the more your insecurity grows, because the more you start becoming aware of the exact thing that you're insecure about.
Do you think in many ways both fitness and the fat acceptance movement is just profiting off of insecure people?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah,
the vast majority of the reason that people build muscle is for vanity reasons. They might not necessarily be happy with their physique.
It literally is for looks. There's no other reason why you would want to gain muscle in this day and age, unless you're like getting to your 30s and you're like, damn, my body hurts and like it's kind of like achy all over. Maybe I should start like working out. Because like the thing is that humans don't require to be strong anymore. They don't. We have machines to do basically everything for us, right? Are we just gonna forget that the stream was put under Withering Waves and consumed? Bro, mods, please change it to just chatting. Lol.
With some severe body dysmorphia.
Omega lol, mod
if at any
sleeping.
Point you think that getting to said physique is going to make you a happy person?
Thank you.
But with that said, acting on your insecurities doesn't necessarily make it bad. Do it right, and it can actually be the motivation for you to finally change. Because let me tell you, the worst position to be is in indifference. So at the end of the day, we're all gonna be influenced and monetized by something. Like if you're watching me still, YouTube and I are monetizing your attention.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what will you choose?
Thank you for watching YouTube Kikos. Thank you YouTube chat.
Is the difference between signing up for the gym, signing up for Ozempic, or deciding to say f it all and staying fat.
Let me ask you, do you think normalizing fatness downplays the undeniable serious health risks that are associated with being at a fatter weight?
I absolutely do not. This is the fact. Fat people exist now. Fat people have always existed and they always will.
But I agree, like fat people have always existed throughout history, but we are seeing undeniably unprecedented
like
levels of obesity, especially in this country.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can also downplay that though.
Health looks different to all. And you are right. There are many diseases that are...
What the fuck do you mean health looks different to all? Like we know what is healthy and what isn't. That's like facts. What?
Made worse by your weight. So I understand that, and I respect that perspective. I just also think that there's an argument to be made that you can be healthy at any size.
So look, clearly we may never agree, but
okay, not at every size. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is a limit for sure. Like, dude, when you are so incredibly skinny that your blood is having difficulty rushing through your body because your fucking arteries are literally squeezed onto each other because there's no fat to give it structure, so you pass out on the regular because of how anemic you are, that is ridiculous. Or when you get to the other side of the spectrum where your arteries are so fucking clogged with fat that your brain is not getting any type of like, oxygen or anything, and then you just pass out because of fucking, like, what was was it called again? Hard and fart, like where you get like bleeds in like your body and like the vessels start popping and shit, or like you like, I don't know, man. That is, no, there's a limit to all sides. You can be either too skinny or too fat. Absolutely. Health looks different to us all. The fuck is that supposed to mean? I guess what she meant by that is that people are come in different like shapes and sizes, and that you could be super tall and be a little bit fatter than another person, and like really short and be a little bit skinnier than another person, because their size and height and like age and race and all that other stuff is aligned to what they include as healthy in their spectrum. That is true. Every single person is different, but there is a limit to it. And at the same time, it's also medically proven that, you know, you can't be going around weighing 300 kilos or 200 kilos without any repercussion. Like, nah, bro. Atherosclerosis, fat buildup in the vessels. That's the word. Thank you. Thank you.
But just as fat activists shouldn't force society to conform to their beliefs, I'm also never going to force people to conform to whatever I believe.
No, I
with
get
that
that.
said, with freedom comes responsibility and accountability over our choices. And until you can understand power and how it influences movement, you will be powerless to the movements designed to influence you. And so to help you with that, sign up to a free weekly newsletter where we uncover
Did Homie
the money
just have 2 subscriptions? He had, or sorry, not 2 subscriptions. He had 2 promotions in one video. He had this one with like the food, and then he had another one, which is this one, the money trails. You know what? Get your bag, King. Sure. Get your bag, King. So yeah, that was a really good video by Gen 6 days ago. So it was a pretty recent release. That was really good.
can learn to use it the right way. And click here to watch the next video. So
No, we're not gonna do that. I've had enough for pharma and fat and this and that. But hey, that was really good. That was really good. That's how my father died. It was his first and only heart attack too. Dude, it's scary. But like at the same time, like you have to also keep in mind that age has a lot of things to do with it as well. I really hope that we're going to be able to fight those type of situations in the future. I really hope that health is going to like improve, and that we're going to be able to like, you know, deal with those type of illnesses and situations more. But at the same time, there is a limit to everything, and we do still have to take care of our bodies and make sure that, you know, we stay healthy, at least a good amount. Can we watch speed eaters stuff their faces now? No. The thing is that speed eaters actually are professionally like trained to be able to speed eat, and they are aware of how much they should eat aside from the competitions. They usually, most speed eaters are incredibly skinny. Because they pace it and they know how to take care of it. It's literally their job.